It's Only Me by Lil Baby. It is 23 songs, an hour and 5 minutes long. Lil Baby, one of the babies. More on that later. Um, it's a just pure, clean, wholesome trap record.
Yeah.
Like just unapologetically trap. It's long. There is some tracks in here that actually are decent trap, considering like the state of trap music in 2022. Actually, I was talking to one of my gym members, Tyra. She's the her daughter is Ray Khalil, so she's really interesting to talk to and talk about trap and everything. And she
Unofficial Audioface
agreed.
trap correspondent.
Yeah, exactly. Because she agreed with us on the Quavo Takeoff record, where she's like, "Dude, that's just absolute ass. Why are they still even trying to make music?" And we come to agreement where we have a very fine limit on trap, where it has to be like within a certain scale of us to like be able to listen to it. And It's Only Me as like that bare minimum to where like, all right, I'll listen to it. I might not enjoy a lot of it, but there's some decent tracks in here. But again, for being in 2022, you still need to make more. You still need to do more. And I think this is. All right, go ahead.
Say, I want to expand on that just slightly, and I'll only take 20 seconds on this. It's just that the state of trap music in 2022 is horrendous. Like, not exactly. Like in bare bones numbers, like there are not many trap records that are selling very well. A lot of trap releases are barely doing like, a genre that would have done 130, 150, 160K stream equivalents or like album spend equivalents in the first week. You're now seeing 15K, 20K, 30K, like is a fraction of what it is. And just, this is not a podcast where we obsess over the numbers, but this is a podcast where we obsess over the quality. And trap has never been known. It's been a quantity over quality genre to begin with. It is much worse this year. It is to the point where
this year's horrible.
Sometimes we would review trap albums to make an example, but it would just be too exhausting for us and would rob time from smaller artists we want to highlight, actually good albums that are happening in this actually rocker of a year in 2022. So to sum up my, very obviously timed 20-second diatribe is that like it is not a good year for trap. We kind of take what we can get here, and what you get here in Lil Baby's thing is definitely bloated, but definitely on the features is some of the better of what you've got here. And Lil Baby as a lyricist is far above average. Not even just above average, like, far above average.
Yeah, and on the YB scale, YB not better. YB not better.
Yeah, YB definitely not better.
Or like
because
maybe the YB not better.
YB has released, I want to say 3 or 4 albums this year. I want to say 2 in the past month. Sometimes he gets respect for this. I'm like, again, quantity over quality is what we should be rewarding. Let's look at Pusha T's album this year. Let's look at the Freddie Gibbs album this year.
Freddie Gibbs was hard.
These are these are rap and trap inspired records that sometimes maybe got a little bit on the long side. I'm not even touching Kendrick Lamar's record because that's just
that's
stratospherically different. Yeah, off the charts, right? And like I'm definitely teasing some of my thinkers for the Audioface Awards right here, but
I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely Lil Baby lyrically can hit with all of those better ones. It's just the production that's holding him back. And I think Young Thug had this problem for a little bit too with So Much Fun in 2019. I almost hated that album, and it had to take me a couple of months to come back around to it.
Yeah, much agreement. And actually, I think, ironically, the track Never Hating with Young Thug is actually a really decent trap track for being in 2022. Like it's pure, clean, wholesome trap, but I like the banter they have between each other. And if I'm going to get trap in 2022, if that comes on, I'm not going to like hate it. I'm not going to go on and just like, all right, ultimate skip. It's just, it's pure, clean, wholesome trap. It is milquetoast centrism of trap, but it's decent for what it is in 2022. There's a lot of filler on this record. Like the first half of it, it's like, all right, we don't need half of this stuff out here. The features are fine. Like the Future track is okay, but I really hate Future. Just now, it's just like he needs to not be on records. He needs to just step away for a little while because all of his stuff sounds the same at this point.
It
The
sounds even
track,
more the
Shice
same
Talk,
than it used to. Like,
exactly. It's super drowned
yeah.
out.
Before, like, there's one song up earlier in the beginning, "Pop Out" with Nardo Wick. When Nardo Wick's part comes on, it's like a not that annoying trap, like we're gonna stitch two songs together and it's barely gonna work thing. But there's definitely like a change in production that matches Nardo
Yeah, yeah.
Wick's kind of style that goes hard. Like I really love that intro. It was one of those like, all right, this is like the best of trap music, like what it can be. Like it's a visceral feeling less so than like the actual lyricism, so to speak, right? But it's just like really, really great there. But yeah, you're continuing on
Yeah,
and talking
and
about
like
other features.
yeah, like back and forth with SG and then Shice Talk with Pooh Shiesty. They're both at that 2 minute mark, and like it gets the idea out. The banter between the both of them is really good, and like, but the issue is you have to go through so much filler and so much bloatiness to get to those tracks. To where it took me a while to get to those, and I was like, oh, I actually like these because I like the features. I feel like they sound good. The production is passable. So that's the issue of making a longer trap record is like you have to get through so much just to get to the good meat and potatoes that we want to listen to. But again, like it's just people who make trap records right now. The people who are making the production of it is just very lackluster. It's uninspiring. There isn't that much to do with it. It's drowned out. There's been so many records out the past 4 or 5 years to where like we've heard everything, but you keep making the same formula over and over and over again, trying to just get your paper, get your stacks up. But at the end of the day, it's not just about that. You need to make different things. And even though I hate Drake with a passion, he did something different this year with Honestly Nevermind. Like he tried to make like a house music record. It was horrible, but I'll give him a point of, you know what? Hey, he didn't try the trap thing again. All right. At least there's that. So if Drake is changing his ways, kind of, then a lot of these other trap artists and stuff need to up their game because you're not gonna be selling stuff. I mean, that Quavo Takeoff record last week was horrible. It's Only Me is passable, but that's not good. You don't want to be just passable. You don't want to be getting C's. You want to be getting A's. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of so when we compare it to Drake's Honestly Nevermind, that's a very, very large jump in production that makes it sort of uncomfortable. But I'm thinking more of like my rap greats, the Sample of the Great record that we got this year, As Above, So Below, Denzel Curry's Melt My
oh
Eyes,
yeah,
See Your Future.
so
Those
good.
did a lot production wise that, with Sample of the Great, it
Or
really
Freddie
fits.
Gibbs.
Yeah, I mentioned Freddie Gibbs already for sure, but like, and that
Oh, sure,
definitely
yeah.
comes from the co-production that he got from there. I'm forgetting the producers there, but like with Soul Sold separately. But all of these rap
Money
artists,
Central
yeah,
separately.
all these artists this year, rap artists, prominent rap artists at the top of their game, have been able to do unique things with their sound. Hell, the Jid record
Yeah.
felt like unique,
Oh, Jid was
right?
good.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of rap this year that, of varying levels of quality. I think it hits well because it also pushes the sound a little bit forward. There's so much rap can be pulling from, just like indie is pulling from every sound under the sun. Just like electronic is starting to pull from every sound under the sun because we're in a new era of music where you can do so many unique things that when you get something that is so just like textbook like trap, it's like this is the kind of trap music that would be released in 2017, 2018, right? Like that's the same sort of complaint that I'd have with an alternative record where I'd say, oh, this sounds like alternative from 2014 or 2013, right? Like it's that similar thing. Now, again, still some of the features hit. I like them. The Nardo Wick one I already mentioned.
Overall, it's an okay record. It's just, again, the state of trap. It's not doing well. You have to make different records. You have to get different ideas to get out to really push your music further, push your art further, and everything. So, yeah. But of the baby scale, it's better than a lot of the other babies. So
yeah, more on that in just a moment. I will say just like a couple more things here is that like this is an hour and 5 minutes in 2022. Way too long for an album. Like I'm just gonna say it. Like Lil Baby is a great artist, but the production plus the execution of Lil Baby has not earned an hour and 5 minutes of a record. I'll just say
there's
that.
like a handful of artists that could do an hour and 5, and we'd say okay. Even when even the 1975, more on that later, they didn't even make an hour-long record, and I wouldn't even give them a pass for an hour-long record, even though they were my favorite bands. There's very few people that I would say, you know what, you can get away with doing a longer record.
No. The 1975 are not only unable to do longer records anymore, they're in debt. Like they have overdrafted their account. They need to release short albums like from here on out, and by short I mean like they need to even get shorter than what we have right now because they are that far in debt. But last thing is that I'm half kidding about that, but like last thing is you have so much room. You are an artist, like again in trap, you can release the hard for the street stuff and you can release the experimental stuff. You could do it both in the same album. You could do a double album format. I think that would have been killer. Like there's so much, all the money in the world will not buy creativity and good execution. And that's what we're seeing time and time again with Lil Baby, who I'll remind you is pretty much the best quality control records it's got at this point.
Yeah. Which again it isn't saying much, but still. Anyways,
yeah. Arbitrary scale.
Arbitrary scale this week. We do arbitrary scales on Audioface every week because our review is our review, and if we try to make an actual 1 through 10 scale, it's just impossible to do because every album is different, and every review is different, every genre is different. So, take that for what it is, Fantano. This week it is rappers with the name Baby in it because there are like 1,000 dudes with the name Baby in it.
Dudes and women.
Yeah, and dudes and women exactly. So just, for me, this
I'm gonna give this Lil Baby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real annoying, and I'm gonna rank the Lil Baby album on the Baby scale as a Lil Baby. This is a solid Lil Baby. This is a real Lil Baby album.
Lil Baby. I was gonna say this is Young Baby Tate. Like a good Young Baby Tate, because she's crazy. Sometimes she's made some really crazy songs. But anyways,